You're a created one." "No!" he protested, holding out his hand toward Thayne, who instantly backed away as if Nick would taint him. Nick's heart broke as he watched the look of satiation turn to one of hatred. "I was born a wolf." Before Nick could say anything else, Thayne shifted and launched himself at Nick. Nick felt time stop. He couldn't hurt his mate. He could only watch and wait for the impact. Their bodies collided, and Nick went down, his back slamming into the unforgiving concrete. He grunted, lifting his arm up to shield his face from the snapping teeth. Pain ripped through his forearm and radiated along every inch of his body. Thayne snarled, wrenching his head from side to side in an effort to tear at Nick's flesh. Nick cried out in agony, hot blood soaking his shirt. Unable to take it anymore, he used every bit of his strength to shove Thayne away from him. Thayne crashed into the nearby dumpster, stunning him long enough for Nick to stand and shift. Thayne struggled to his feet as Nick gave him a sorrow-filled look. Thayne paused, watching him intently for a moment, until Nick turned and ran. He darted between cars, keeping to the shadows to prevent anyone from spotting him. His chest hurt. It felt as if a huge, gaping hole was left where his heart was meant to be. The accelerated healing ability of being a wolf left little to no mark when he finally shifted back to human a few blocks from Seth's place. During the walk to Seth's, Nick made plans to leave Senaka the moment Seth's situation was settled. He couldn't bear the idea of remaining in the same town as his mate, not when he'd been rejected with such finality. His wolf cried out with every step, urging him to return to Thayne's side. Nick forced himself to ignore his wolf, to keep moving forward, one foot in front of the other. Each step broke him bit by bit, until he felt he was nothing more than an empty, hollow shell. Nick knew he would never forget this night until the day he died. 6 months later. "Hey, Nick, is there anything left to handle with the Synergen project?" His friend and business partner, Ryan Driscoll, interrupted his musings and brought him back to the present. Nick blinked several times to clear his vision and glanced up from his computer monitor. He looked around to remind himself he was at his office in Emerald Lake Hills, California, and needed to focus on work rather than the one night of heaven and the 6 months of hell since meeting Thayne. Seth had settled well into his role as Casey's mate and was well protected by his new pack. Nick no longer had to worry for his best friend's safety and found many excuses to steer clear of the small town, especially after finding out Thayne was Casey's brother. Thayne still refused to accept him, despite the discovery Nick wasn't a created one. Knowing his mate truly didn't want him snapped something inside of Nick. He no longer found his world as colorful as he once had. He had tried unsuccessfully for the past several months to forget Thayne, to immerse himself in the bodies of others. But they couldn't make him forget the smell, the taste, or the feel of Thayne against him. He didn't allow himself much time to dwell on any of it, forcing himself to concentrate on projects and designs until all hours of the night, working himself into exhaustion. But sometimes his mind managed to wander to that time before he could stop it. "Nick?" Ryan stood before him with an expectant expression as he waited for Nick's response. They'd known each other for 8 years, having met during one of Nick's infrequent visits to the pack while helping to protect Seth. They'd even hooked up a handful of times, but it had never gone beyond sex. Mutual pleasure. Ryan was a dangerously attractive man. 2 years older than Nick, 6'4", nice body. He kept in shape by swimming. Not overly muscular, but well-defined. Dirty blonde hair he kept in a neat fade, and hazel eyes that seemingly changed color with his mood made a gorgeous match. Nick rubbed his eyes and sat back in his desk chair. Ryan knew something had happened when he'd gone to Senaka, but he wasn't one to pry unless Nick wanted to share, and for that, Nick was grateful.